question. Why did you not pinch run for play?
I have 11 bags.
Coach, thanks for joining us. We'll ask for an opening statement, then we'll ask questions to the student athletes, and we'll dismiss them before we come back to questions for Coach. If you could give us an opening statement about tonight's game.
Yeah, I guess I've had time, but haven't taken time to think of what a good opening statement is. Obviously, both teams get a lot of credit for putting on a show for the fans. My understanding is the game prior to ours was like that too, and that's what this place is about, and it's why we get the crowds that we do here, and it's why this sport has grown into what it is. And there's a lot that could be dissected in the game, so we'll leave it up to your questions. Just the one thing that I haven't shared with the team, but I share with these guys is we hit BP early, and we had a lot of downtime in kind of a holding room or a makeshift locker room. And as we were getting ready to go out in the dugout, I was just kind of looking around the room and had a sense of comfort. Just because looking at the group of guys that we were about to go do battle with, felt pretty dang good about it. And I think we knew we were going to do battle with a very offensive team, as you saw. But, you know, when you come here, it's Abbott a few years ago. He might have been the quickest to the big leagues out of that group. I don't know. It's hard to argue who the best pitcher is. And then the argument's a little easier with last year. It was Skeens. And then we finally figure out who we're facing today, and you look at the video and you look at the numbers, and Arnold can certainly make the case that he's the best pitcher in this thing. So we had a coaches meeting, and to quote Ace Ventura, why don't you cry about it, saddlebags? You know, you're going to have to beat somebody good. So our guys toughened up pretty good there. There was no game plan other than to compete, and they did a good job there. So.
Okay, we'll open questions for the student athletes. First question right here.
Clinton Yates, ESPN, Christian. I mean, heck of a night, second cycle ever, and for the last time it happened was in the 50s. You know, what's your mindset in a situation like that in terms of what you felt, and what was that last day be like as well when you guys really needed it and you seemed locked in?
Throughout the whole game, you know, the only mindset I have is to win. You know, get on base for my team, set the tone. You know, I have really good hitters behind me, so I just want to get on for them. So really, to be honest, didn't really know I did it. I was just so hyper-focused on, you know, winning and just that next task. And I guess talking about that last AB, you know, just want to fight, you know, down to my last strike there with 2 outs. Just want to fight. You know, it's a battle. Me versus him, mano a mano. And, you know, I guess I won that one.
Here we're going to go right 1, 2, and 3.
Jackson Raisdale, Mall World Herald. Can you guys just talk about, you know, maintaining that belief throughout? You know, you guys were getting guys on base, but it wasn't really getting scored or runs across the board, and then you get to that 8th and 9th, and you guys come back and win it.
I'll leave us off. You know, we talk about it, you know, all the time in the locker room, you know, in the dugout. You know, we believe in each other day in, day out, and we know that, you know, all we have to do is pass the torch to the next person. And I said it earlier, but the group out there, you know, we've played a lot of games together. So there's that certain comfort between us and knowing, you know, my brother has my back at all costs. So when you go out there and have that, you know, good things can happen, like tonight.
Dylan and Blake, you want to chime in on that?
I thought that was pretty good what Simo said.
Well done.
Dylan,
Good there. Front.
Jake McKeever, College Baseball Central. Blake, you had the 2-2 check swing. Can you walk us through that? And then how did you kind of readjust and get that big hit in the 9th?
It was a check swing, and I didn't go, and I kept battling after that. So, I mean, I just kept battling, and that was the result.
Jake Mintz, Yahoo Sports. Christian, in your last at-bat, there was a clip of you on the broadcast turning to the dugout and going, "It's fine. It's fine." What were you trying to convey to your teammates in that moment?
I was actually saying, let's fight. It's a battle. Like I said, 2 outs, 2 strikes. I get out, we lose. Let's fight. That's what I did.
And you're saying that to them even though you're the one at the plate?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a group effort.
Yeah. And then the last question I have is, did you know that you had the cycle?
No, I did not, sir.
Yeah.
Any other questions for the student athletes? That one right there.
For you guys, just the biggest mindset coming out at the top of the 3rd inning, getting 6 runs across from the other side. What was just your mentality to, you know, get back in it? And for all of you guys too, Chris, Dylan, and Blake, what do you just feel about the offense going into Sunday and everything else that lies ahead?
I mean, we're a very gritty team. And when we go out there, we always think that we can put up whatever number on the scoreboard. And we aren't trying to put up a 6 spot. We're just trying to win every pitch. And we just threw a bunch of jabs all game, and then threw that big punch in the ninth inning.
With this offense, we're always 1 inning away. That's kind of our motto this year. And we just had a belief that a big inning was coming, and just trusting each other.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of the staple of this program. We're always 1 inning away. If they put up 6, we can do it too, and we have that confidence in each other. And, we were able to do that, scratch and claw, and was able to get back in there.
Okay, last 2 questions. We'll go here and here for the students.
For Blake and for Christian, with y'all coming back to win that game the way you did, how much, if at all, does that change some of the conversations y'all are going to want to have about some of the way things went early in that game and some of the miscues and that stuff, just team-wide?
We won. I don't know if we'll have that conversation, but I know we won that game, and we're going to just keep trying to win every other game from there. Put that game, kind of behind us. It's cool, walk off, everything like that. But, now it's on to the next task, and I don't know who we play or whatever, but we'll be ready for them.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm good.
Hey, Harrison fan, SEC Unfiltered. You guys talk about how kind of relentless this team is, just since proven season after season, and especially this season, throughout the season. What kind of is a tribute to that, the brotherhood, just the chemistry and everything around that? Yeah, I mean, I think from the fall, from the jump, you could tell that we bonded really, really good, and doing everything together, just always hanging out in the locker room later. So, we kind of knew we had something special, and we knew that all we had to do was put it on the field and work hard to be in this situation. And all those guys, even guys in the dugout, have really pushed themselves to be here and to be this team. So I'm super proud of everybody, and hopefully we can keep this train going.
What do you think, Blake? Yeah, Blake, you'd like to add something?
Sure. I actually forgot the question, but we love each other and we're playing for each other. So,
Including the coaches?
Including the coaches.
Love you, Coach V.
Thanks, man.
Gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. Congratulations on the win. Okay, we're going to open questions for Coach right here. We'll start here right in front.
Tony, Cannon seems like he's been really productive as a pinch hitter for you all year. Just what has made him so good in those moments, and kind of what did you see from him in that at-bat in the ninth?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of a backwards answer, but I think it's what he's capable of. With the nature of his position and also what we think his strengths are, it's kind of a catch-22. It's, we've got an opportunity to put you in the game, but hold on, we want to put you in the game when the fire is burning hot. So that could be really frustrating for a young guy, even more frustrating for a guy that kind of envisions a Pete Rose, George Brett style of attacking the game, which he truly does. But for this team in particular, it's what his role is and what it needs to be. And it's a good chance he'll catch before our time is done here. There's a great chance that he'll have to be patient again for that next situation. But I think what you're seeing is what he's fully capable of. And it kind of embodies what these guys are talking about. I mean, I know they're trying to answer correctly, and they're really good dudes when they're not on the field. They're very competitive on the field. But what they're talking about, kind of brotherhood and throwing around those words, is Peebles has accepted his role. And I could go on and on down the list. Snead gets the win tonight. There's times we've taken the ball from him. There's times where he's sore, but he wants to take the ball. I mean, it's been a good group as far as all that stuff goes.
That lineup turned over, and you have a runner on, and Christian and Blake are coming up in a 2-run game. What is that confidence level like for you? And as those counts go to full, is there a tension, or does the confidence outweigh that for you?
See, I thought Simo was telling me to calm down. KT told me to calm down about 4 times. I had a bunch of dirt in my hands at one point. So I think I was the least composed out of that group. But I assure you that I was confident. We just talked about getting on base. And, yeah, it's nice to turn over the lineup. And, Christian Moore was a man on a mission tonight, so you'd like to see him get up to the plate. But honestly, in that situation, what the conversation is let's just make sure we get one base runner. And then I feel like our lineup is capable. I mean, tonight, I don't think Cal had much to show for it. And then one of those regional or super regionals games, Cal almost kind of took over, and then we could go, each guy through the lineup and talk, similar fashion.
We're going to go 1, 2, 3. And back here.
Colin Wilson with the Action Network. Tony, when you came out of the dugout in the top of the ninth, none of us knew why you did. Can you explain what happened? How'd you come out of the dugout?
Just the balk call. Again, a lack of composure, but it kind of had some history to it. That was something that we saw earlier in the game. And to be honest with you, if you go back and watch the video, we've got other guys, in my opinion, that were guilty of it on our side too. And then, my feeling was it was arbitrarily called, out of the blue. And I haven't talked to those guys. Typically, the umpires will, give an infielder, hey, tell that guy he needs to stop. So maybe that was the case. Maybe they warned him, and he still didn't come completely set. But we felt like we were in a situation, especially with a runner at third, where that didn't take place. And, I guess just kind of a competitive situation. I mean, again, coming into the game with Arnold, you watch the video, you want 90 feet any way you can possibly get it. So just kind of a build up to that situation. But, it's what he did, and there was kind of calls that went back and forth for both teams.
Jackson Reyes, the Omaha World Herald. So Chris leaves the game early in the first inning. Can you just talk about what you saw from your bullpen, and outside of that third inning, just their ability to be resilient on the mound? Yeah, that bothers me that he came out of the game that quick. It would have been interesting to see how things would have taken place if the first play was tricky. It's a different field. It's a gorgeous field, but it's a different field, and I don't know that I managed our practice time as well as I needed to yesterday. I mean, you don't get much time to get used to it, and they cut it. So it's not like our guys weren't focused. I promise you we coach, but it looked like we were disorientated in some of those situations. And Stom was throwing the ball very well. And as soon as I took one step out of the dugout, I'd have to look at the video. I forget what he said, some sort of phrase. I don't even think there was a cuss word in there, but he was as frustrated as I was that we had to take him out. But then each guy after that just kind of did what they had to do. I mean, those are more walks than you're typically going to see out of a Coach Anderson pitching staff. They're very dangerous in the lineup. There's some plays that we could have made behind them. All in all, it was a hot mess. But it's not going to be pretty. It doesn't have to be pretty this time of year. You just got to keep fighting.
Oh, in the back.
Tony, you've talked about your first two teams that came to Omaha, and maybe those first two games not playing like themselves. Did you see that early on from
No.
this bunch, and what allowed this bunch to maybe overcome some early mistakes and pull out this type of win?
No, I felt like pregame, we tried not to rush anything, probably the better way to do it. I've been guilty of doing that in the past. Like I said, we had some bonus time. And then you could sense the air about them was pretty good. They were eager to go. Again, Stom was throwing the ball well. Our first inning against Arnold, I got to be honest, I didn't envision it that way. The one thing I did envision, to be 1,000% honest with you, too, we've had a fair amount of success this year. We hadn't had a walk-off win. And that for whatever reason, that was in my head. Maybe because of the game beforehand. And those things are interesting because, once you do something, it kind of seems to occur again or come in bunches. But, no, I just think, a couple tricky plays, and our guys weren't handling, some of the circumstances that were present on the field. But what I said in the mid-game interview was, and I don't mean because we're in Omaha or because the stakes are high. It was just the actual circumstances that were present on the field needed to be handled better by our guys. But sometimes when you compete, you can cover up mistakes. And I think that's, what the definition of that is tonight. It was certainly a great example.
Okay, we got the last two questions right here.
Clinton Yates, ESPN. Coach, monster night for Simo. Can you tell me a little bit more generally, though, about what you've seen from him as a player from a development standpoint since he's been around in Knoxville?
Wants to win as bad as anyone I've ever been around. And, the umpires, we talked about that there. Grady, the home plate umpire, was really good to me because he kind of let me come out and speak my mind and just, kind of talk about some things. And then he let me know what was going on the field. And the one guy we were talking about back and forth was Simo. And I was just, pleading a particular case. That guy wants to win as bad as anybody on the field. I don't know how you define that, but that's what makes his motor go. and he's not going so good when he's not in that mode and he's worried about other things. And to answer your question, his development has come to where he's matured a lot on and off the field to where he gets into that spot more often and doesn't let a bump in the road set him off or a poor game set him off in another direction. And it's been nice to see that development. Blake Burke and he are two guys that have been a part of two different ends that Chris Burke was talking about before the game. Such a fun story. Two different sides of the country, two totally different ways to do it. But they've both matured in so many different ways, and they're pros, and they're ready to be pros. I just hope it's not for a while.
Last question for Coach.
Jake Mintz, Yahoo Sports.
Yeah.
Just curious about Simo. Like, what we saw tonight was incredibly special, and in some ways, the culmination of a lot of time and work that's gone on with his development. For you, what was the moment that you realized he was special? Like, when you look back to recruiting the kid, is there a moment that stands out in your mind of, like, I knew that kid was going to be different?
You know, our staff did a good job recruiting him. I played a very small part. As a matter of fact, I went to one game in the middle of nowhere in Georgia, and he didn't say hi to me. I don't know if he knew it was me or not, so I tease him about that all the time. He was pitching in that game. He was a pitcher, athletic kid, infielder that we recruited. And then I mentioned earlier to the ESPN folks, we didn't think he was coming to school. He had to turn down really good money in order to come. I was going to save this for later, but I think he's kind of battling a little bit of the reputation that people throw around right now from others that we dealt with 3 years ago. We had some concepts there that not a guy that says no to good money and come and wants to play team ball and things like that. And we knew right away once he was on campus we were wrong. But we also had to do some things to, again, like any freshman, needed to mature. And he's gotten to that point right now. So it's fun to watch.
Have you ever seen a home run like the one he hit today? From anybody?
To be honest with you, a couple similar at our park, but I would say the more unique thing was the reaction from some of the guys in the dugout. When you impress your teammates that way, where it's kind of like a Sean Kemp for old enough people in the room, like a Sean Kemp dunk, and you got everybody, on the bench going crazy. That was kind of the reaction in the dugout.
Coach, congratulations on the victory, and thank you for your time.
Thank you all.
My favorite player of all time, number 40, baby. Sean Kemp.